Hi, this is Sylvia Hollis, photographed here. I just wanted to invite you to an opportunity to take a class with me in the spring. The course is called Intro to Public History. It will take place on the Rockville campus, starting on February the 2nd, 2024. It is a Tuesday, Thursday course. It is in person from 2 p.m. until 3:30. And the course will introduce students to the field of public history. Hello, so I realize some of you may not know what public history is. Well, it is, of course, it's the study of the past and it's how people interpret the study of the past, but it's also something that has become, within the past 40 years, more popular and more intentional. It's how practitioners talk about the past with the public. And so when I say practitioners, that's people who do the work of interpretation. So it may be historic site rangers, it may be curators, it may be people that work within archives. It's people associated with museums, public education, components of museums and historic sites, you name it. And the training and skills required to do public history is similar to the traditional field of history, but something that's a little different is public historians sometimes even do the work of helping to preserve history within the archive. Sometimes they're trained to develop methods and systems of identifying objects of the past. It's a very, very big word we call nomenclature. Sometimes public historians are charged with studying whole collections and understanding their history, how certain objects came to be in museums and what their various identities were when they first came versus how they change over time. There's another very big word called provenance. So provenance is the history of ownership. These are kind of methods that people that are in the field of public history develop for the craft. Public history is in this area. When I say this area, I mean the DMV. It's a pretty amazing space for training. It's also a pretty important place for employment. There's opportunities even as early as where you all are in your associate program level. Traditional four-year college students, even high school students, can get involved via training, like paid internships, opportunities to work on a variety of different types of public history projects, be it research, be it interpretation, be it education, could be archive, could be exhibition development. And something else I want to say about public history that not a lot of people think about. Sometimes even if you don't want to go into like the larger kind of traditional field of history, it's a great way for you to get training and background experience. Museums and historic sites have a wide variety of opportunities for employment. And so it could be that if your background is accounting and finance, we still need CFOs, right? We still need accountants. We still need people. A lot of museums are nonprofits. Not all of them are. Like it just depends on the structure, right? And so not all are state institutions and things like that. You still need skilled people that understand what finance is. If you're interested in communications or marketing, there's opportunities for people to work in historic sites and museums in that form. If you're interested in business, there's a new trend, a lot of new presidents, CEOs, and org leaders at museums, historic sites, what have you. A lot of them are MBAs now, and or they have Juris Doctorate degrees. So even if you're interested in going into law, there's space for you, especially right now in public history, with so much happening around conversations for repatriation, going back to that provenance word, history of ownership. The field is in a moment right now of reckoning where a lot of the objects that had been once revered and deeply respected at various institutions, especially like the British Museum or the Louvre, People are doing research and understanding that some of their object collections and provenance overlap with other kind of histories, histories of colonialism. Okay, and so some institutions are having real periods of reckoning around what that means. And so, if you have a background in law, there's a whole field of museum law. You have a background in business, there's a whole opportunities for leadership and management. So I mean, even IT, computer technology, has space in various museums, especially digital humanities. As digital humanities gets bigger, uh, there's there's a need for more nuanced and more creative understandings of how to support these larger platforms that museums are creating, to be able to share their archives. So space is vast. It's really, really big. I hope you consider taking this class. If you do, just sign up. If you have questions before signing up, feel free to shoot me an email. Students will gain experience in public history through readings, researching, and working in class group projects. They will learn about the types of work that historians do in museums, historic sites, national parks, and also in historic cultural centers. Students will engage collaboratively in group projects in class, including drafting historic nominations for historic sites. We will do a newspaper archive project. We will learn a range about the museum collections, including photography, material culture, other forms of ephemera. The course will also incorporate several documentary films. I included a few images on my flyer here. First being individuals looking at something from within an archive. I believe it is a piece of a film. The other being an exhibition I just saw this past summer, which was done by the artist Kira May Weems at the Barbican Gallery. And so we'll learn a bit about what it is to curate exhibitions and work with artists in their exhibitions. And also, of course, what's the work of historians in developing history, exhibitions, as well as working in several examples of like curatorial community art spaces or cultural art spaces or historic sites. And then the last image is the National Museum of African American History and Culture, the last National Museum of the Smithsonian to open. There's two more slated for this city. One is the National Museum of Latino History, and the other is the National Museum of Women. And we'll learn about how those previous Smithsonians came into being. We're very, very lucky to be in a city that has America's museums. And also, there'll be some opportunities for us to visit museums over the course of the class. I hope you consider taking this course. If you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to email me. My contact information is also included at the bottom of the flyer, sylvia.hollis@montgomerycollege.edu.